What is going on, guys? Welcome to GregglesTV Daily Rewind. It's where we go back 1 week and put 7 days of tech news videos into one single video so you can get caught up on the tech news of the week. And this week was mostly filled with Galaxy Note 10 news along with Pixel 4. And then we end the week with some iPhone news for 2020 releases. So it's a pretty big week for mobile phone news. So let's get into it, guys. Enjoy this week's episode. And as always, let me know what your favorite story was of the week. I will see you in the next one. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is Samsung has filed a new patent for a new foldable phone, and it looks very, very interesting. Basically what it is, it's a regular phone, as you can see from this patent, and then on the right hand side the screen actually extends out to create a much larger displayed phone. Now we don't have specific, it's going to have this size of a screen and these specs. It's literally a design patent for the mechanical part of this, showing that the screen extends out to the right. And Let's Go Digital website, which I will link below, made some renders up of what it possibly could look like. And if it looks anything like this, I think this would be something I believe a lot of people would want to get. And obviously you're getting a regular size phone, but then as you can see to the right, it just extends out to create that foldable display. And they're saying that it could possibly be the Galaxy S11. I highly doubt that. I think it's going to be more on the Fold line. I think that's going to be their next major flagship line of phones. It would go Galaxy, Note, and then the foldable phones. And this again could be something really cool. What do you guys think? If you guys want to download the wallpaper for the new Galaxy Note 10 on your current phone, whatever phone you have it be an iPhone or an older Android phone, a new Android phone, whatever phone you have, you can now download the wallpaper. It's linked down below, guys, and you can make it your wallpaper on your phone, so you feel like maybe you have a Galaxy Note 10, or maybe you just like the wallpaper. It's really cool looking, as you can see. I like it. And again, you can download that right now, and it's super easy to install. Just download it, and then basically hold on it, and then set it as your wallpaper. And the last story of the day is about the Galaxy Note 10 production. It looks like production has been delayed a little bit on this phone because of a trade dispute between South Korea and Japan. It looks like the issue is causing a 10% delay in production for the Galaxy Note 10. So they started production this month, and they're being able to produce about 90% of what they're supposed to for this month, and then they'll do the other 10% next month. And it looks like it's affecting the Galaxy Note 10s that have the Exynos processor in it. So not the Snapdragon 855 ones that are going to be out in America, Canada, and a lot of the rest of the world, but it looks like Exynos does make up the majority of the entire world outside of a few countries that get the Galaxy Snapdragon 855 version. And again, it could possibly cause a delay in the amount of phones that they push out to people. So they might have to lower estimates, they might sell out quicker, things like that. We'll see how this ends up hurting them as time goes on, but it's something to keep in mind that if you get in the Exynos version, you might sell out much quicker than usual. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is that the Samsung Galaxy Buds are a little bit cheaper, aka on sale on Amazon. They're usually $129 everywhere. They're $119 on Amazon right now. So they're $10 savings. So if you've been waiting to get the Samsung Galaxy Buds, these are true wireless earbuds. I reviewed these. I gave them pretty good reviews, and I'll list my review down below. I got them initially right when they came out. Samsung provided them to me. And again, if you want to pick them up, Amazon, $10 off right now. Next up, Qualcomm announced yesterday that they're going to release the Snapdragon 855 Plus, which is a overclocked version of the 855, and it brings with it very, very modest increases in speed. So for instance, the processor is 9 gigahertz faster. 9, that's not a lot. It's 2.84 versus 2.95, not a huge difference. And then also the bigger difference though is it's bringing a 15% GPU increase. So gaming should be slightly better as well. That's pretty good, 15%. But again, are you going to see this in any big difference versus a phone that's just running a regular Snapdragon 855? Probably not. They'd really have to take advantage of it, and I just don't see it happening. But the thing is that these processors possibly could come out in the Pixel 4 that's coming out, and also the Galaxy Note 10, Note 10 Plus. we'll have to wait and see. We haven't heard any specific phones that are going to be using this. I would also expect when OnePlus refreshes their phone that they'll put that processor in it, possibly if the 865 isn't out by then. So we'll have to wait and see again if it's going to come out, but there's a possibility it might come out in the Note 10 and Pixel 4. And speaking of processors, we actually have the benchmark has leaked out for the Galaxy Note 10 phone. Now this version is the Exynos 9825 with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So this is not the Snapdragon version of the phone. And the score on the single core is 4495, multi-score is 10223. Now, not huge on benchmarks because I think you can still get a really smooth running, good, solid phone with whatever benchmark at that point. So all the phones get pretty good benchmarks regardless of their iPhones or new Android phones, and almost all of them are really smooth and run really well. So I wouldn't really worry about that. The other thing to keep in mind is 8 gigabytes of RAM. That should be the base version of this phone. In terms of RAM, storage should be 256 on both phones as well, base storage. And then for RAM amounts like up to leading, so the Note 10 Plus should have 8 gigabytes of RAM to start off and then 12 gigabytes of RAM as the top model. So if you wanted the one with 12 gigabytes of RAM, they should definitely have this, and that should equal out with what we already get with the Galaxy S10 line of phones. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is all about the charging block that will come inside of the Galaxy Note 10 and Note 10 Plus. First of all, this is what the 45 watt charger looks like. Now this is the European version. You can tell by the ends, at least in America, that doesn't look like the ends that you plug into the wall here in America, but this is the European version. So that's what that's going to look like, obviously, but the big block itself, that's going to be the same all across the world. And again, that's the 45 watt charger. Now, if you want to know what the charger that's going to come inside the box of the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus, and file this under the category of maybe, possibly, most likely being disappointed again with the Galaxy Note 10, the Note 10 and Note 10 Plus will come with the 25 watt charger, not the 45 watt. Now, another thing to keep in mind, the Note 10, the regular Note 10, will only be able to do 25 watt charging. The Note 10 Plus, the really good version, will be able to do 45 watt charging. So if you want the 45 watt charging, you have to get the Note 10 Plus. You're gonna have to pay a premium for it. But again, it's only gonna come inside the box with 25 watt charging. There's no reason, I guess, why they're gonna end up doing this. It's probably because they wanna save money. And the cost of the 45 watt charger, if you wanna buy it, is about 50 bucks. At least in European prices, it's 50 euros. I equated that today, it's 56 American dollars, but I assume it'd probably just be $50 everywhere that they sell it, which is very expensive for a charger to buy. At that point, are you going to buy it? Probably not. 25 watts still is an increase over what we get now with our phones. They're like 15 watt at this point with the Galaxy S10. The S10 5G does come with a 25 watt, but all the other S10s come with a 15 watt. So it is still an increase at 25 watt, but it would be really nice if they included the 45 watt, especially with the prices of these phones. It's crazy, but it looks like it's not going to come inside the box. You'll have to buy it separately. And the last story of the day is also about the Galaxy Note 10. Yesterday we talked about the Snapdragon 855 Plus coming out possibly with the Galaxy Note 10 and the Pixel 4 at that. It looks like that rumor will not hold up. It would just come with the Snapdragon 855, and then the other processor internationally would be the Exynos 9825. Now the 855 Plus was a slight increase. It's overclocked over the 855, the plain old 855. Not hugely, but still an increase, and again, it's not going to come out with the Galaxy Note 10 phone. So if you're waiting for that or hoping for it, it will not come true. It's just gonna have the regular old 855, and again, internationally it'll be the 9825. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6. Now, if you remember, this is going to be the successor to the Tab S4. The Tab S4 was their flagship tablet last year. Tab S6, they're just skipping the 5 to make it the 6 because of the Tab S5e. Anyways, let's talk about renders that are being pushed out right now that we're seeing for this. Now, we've already seen a real photo of it supposedly in the past, and this is renders again of what it's going to look like. And you can see it's going to have like a bluish color, a grayish color, and a pink color. And you can see the S Pen on the back. That's gonna be, I believe, where it charges as well, along with the dual camera on the back. You'll see the Samsung logo in the middle, and then the AKG sound information at the bottom of the tablet. Now, this is a picture of the tablet with its keyboard case. If you buy it, obviously we had additional charge, over $100 for sure, probably like 130 bucks, I believe it is, if you want to get that, and it has the stand and the keyboard. Next, we're taking a closer look at the S Pen itself. The S Pen for the tablet is always a little bit thicker than it is for the Note, just because there's more space. So it should be thicker than the regular Note 9 pen. And then from different angles, you can see the bottom of the tablet. You see the USB-C port along with 2 speakers, no headphone jack on this tablet at all. On the right-hand side of the tablet, you have the power button. Below that, you have the volume buttons. And then it looks like towards the bottom on the right, you have where you'd put the SD card or the SIM card. As for specs, this tablet should come with a Snapdragon 855, 6 gigabytes of RAM, and then either 128 or 256 gigabytes of storage, and it should be out around August of this year. Next up, it looks like the Samsung Galaxy Fold is one step closer to being released. According to a Samsung Korean website, The Elec, a group of tech experts have tested the fixes that were implemented and told Samsung that the device is good to go. Now, I don't think that this tablet's gonna be released like right now, especially with the Note 9 coming up and being announced in a few weeks from now. I would expect now at this point, again, if it's gonna come out, it's probably gonna be the holiday season. So you're probably looking at October, November, December of 2019 before it comes out. Again, they're not gonna saturate the market with 2 major products. So if you're waiting for it, you're probably going to have to, even though it might be ready right now, you're still probably gonna have to wait a few more months. The next 2 stories are tweets from Ice Universe, and the first one is dictating the differences between the Note 10 series compared to the S10 series. And you can see appearance upgrade, larger screen ratio, added 5G support. And he's talking about the Note 10. And obviously the S10 does have 5G, but it looks like the Note 10 will have more versions that have 5G. UFS 2.1 versus UFS 3.0. That means that the Note 10 is going to have faster read-write storage. 15 watt versus 25 watt charging right out of the box. The Galaxy Note 10 will have 25 watt and the ability for 45 watt if you buy the faster charger. S7 and adds a new Soma tent sensory operation. Not too sure what he means by that right there. Camera update, there's no difference, and performance update, there's no difference. So again, not a lot of changes between the 2 phones if you're thinking about getting the Note 10. Obviously the S Pen is on the Note 10, but beyond that, and there's no headphone jack, but beyond that, just basic day-to-day stuff, there's not a big difference. The other part that he put here is it's about the Chinese version of the Note 10, but it's good to know about this because I think this will carry over into other regions as well. It says the Chinese version of the Note 10 is divided into 2 types. Note 10 4G, minimum specs on that are going to be 8 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. And then he says Note 10 Plus 5G, minimum specs 12 gigabytes of RAM and 512 gigabytes of storage. Now there will obviously be a 4G version of the Note 10 Plus, but he's saying that the minimum specs on the 5G version are 12 gigabytes of RAM and 512 of gigabytes of storage. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is we have some leaked information, more leaked information I should say, about the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6. Remember, this is their flagship tablet coming out. They're skipping the S5 moniker and jumping right to the S6 from the S4. And we have the battery size. So it looks like you can see Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 will feature a 6840 milliamp battery and 15 watt fast charging. Now, the fast charging on this tablet will not match what they're gonna be releasing with the Galaxy Note 10, Note 10 Plus. Those phones will be able to charge at 25 watt and 45 watt respectively. This tablet is sticking with their 15 watt fast charging, which will match Galaxy Note 9, Galaxy Tab S4, like all the past generation of devices that Samsung has released. Another thing to keep in mind is this battery, the 6840 milliamp battery in the Tab S6 is actually smaller than the battery in the Tab S4. That was around 7300 milliamps. You're probably gonna ask yourself, why? Well, they wanted to make the device slimmer. So this device is slimmer than the Tab S4, so that's one reason why the battery is smaller. Also, the Snapdragon 855 is a little bit better with battery and the economics of using battery life up. So it might even equate to the same battery life as the Tab S4. I'm assuming it probably does. So there's probably not too much to worry about. And the battery life is fairly decent on the Tab S4. I believe it's like 10 hours. So you can still get really good battery life with this tablet, even though it has a smaller battery. But remember, it has the faster, more efficient 855 processor versus the 835 that's in the Tab S4. And the last story of the day is if you want to register for more information on the Samsung Galaxy Note 10 on Samsung's official website, you now can. You head over to their website. I'll link it down below like I do all my news stories. And you do have to look for it a slight bit, but basically it'll be at the top and you'll see arrows on the left and the right there. You just cycle through them. It looks like it's the 1, 2, 3, 4th, 5th one. If you want to click on those little bubbles right below the photo towards the top there. And you'll click sign up. Once you click sign up, you put in your first name, your last name, your email, and your zip code, and they'll send you more information about the Galaxy Note 10 as it arrives. It'll obviously tell you about the pre-order once that goes live, basically anything to do with this phone. If you're gonna buy this phone, I would, without a doubt, recommend you signing up for this, because if you missed one of my videos, for instance, or you just want to be one of the first and only to know about this device as information is released about it, definitely sign up for that. It's a great place to go to do that. Also keep in mind, just to give you a little bit of jealousy, if you're in Germany, and I took this from the Sam Mobile website because they got it translated because I can't read German, obviously. So in Germany, you'll get a free exclusive offer. They don't say exactly what it is for the Note 10, but for the S10 when they did this in Germany, they gave you a coupon for a free wireless charger. And you also got the ability to get to the phone 3 days before anybody else. And that's just for registering and then eventually pre-ordering the device. So amazing what they get in Germany. Now, they're not giving you a free coupon or anything with just registering for more information here in America. But don't worry, that when they do the pre-order, there should be free gifts like they do almost always, regardless if you register or not. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is we have more Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL renders. Now, what we're gonna see is basically everything about this phone at this point. And you know, so if you've been wanting to see, dying to see renders of this phone, this is it. So first off, we'll see side by side Pixel 4 XL and Pixel 4. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of differences between the phones in terms of, like, you have that big square allotment of cameras in the top left on the back with the G logo at the bottom. And then on the front, you have a fairly big bezel at the top and a smaller bezel at the bottom. The bezel at the top, as you might love or not love, especially with nowadays where phones have cameras on the screen and cameras and a notch up top. This is literally just old school bezel at the top. They have a bunch of sensors up there. I'm gonna revert back to a Ice Universe post where he's showing off the glass protective case for a Pixel 4 phone. And you can see there's a couple cameras on the top left, and then to the right of that, either a microphone or a sensor of some sort. And then you have the earpiece where you'll hear your calls. To the right of that is this big open gaping slot of a sensor. So most likely what that's going to be is some kind of face unlock. Most likely is what we're gonna see with that, something akin to what you get with the iPhone. So secure face unlock, something that hasn't really been seen on Android to this point. So it's gonna be a nice little feature and probably, hopefully, something that might catch on. Obviously, face unlock has been on Android phones for a long time, but not secure face unlock. I'm also thinking when you look back to these renders, you don't see a fingerprint sensor. You don't see one on the back. You don't see like a imprint on the screen at all showing it. So I'm assuming if it's not under the screen, and I kind of feel like Google is not going to put one under the screen like Samsung has done and other companies have done as well. I actually think they're going to completely not have a fingerprint sensor. I think they're only going to use that secure face unlock on this phone, again, akin to an iPhone. Kind of lame, I guess, in a way. I do like fingerprint sensors better. I can't say I like it underneath the screen better. It seems slower to me and less accurate, especially with the Galaxy phones. Other than that, no headphone jack on this phone. You'll see at the bottom there, you see the USB-C and two stereo speakers at the bottom there, and that's pretty much it. I don't know, what do you guys think? You think it looks like a cool phone or not? Let me know in the comments. And the last story of the day is what to expect with the July update when it officially hits where you are for the Galaxy S10 line of phones. And let's just jump into the meat of this update. So camera improvements on night mode, improved picture quality in low light conditions. Awesome. Next, wide and telephoto modes on live focus are available in rear camera S10 and S10 Plus. So if you have the S10 or S10 Plus, you're gonna be able to the live focus with the wide and telephoto lenses. That's that blurred background. That's gonna be really cool to try on that wide angle. Ultra wide lens, panorama wide, and ultra wide SDK for third party. So that means other apps will be able to take advantage of the wide, ultra wide lens and the panorama wide and the ultra wide. The 80-degree angle in third party app supported now, same thing as I just said before within other apps. Color stability in moving faces has also been improved. Support screen mirroring on the brand new The Cero TV. The third is Gear VR connection issue repaired. Does anybody still use Gear VR? Let me know in the comments down below. Number 4, implemented stability code for device security. So it looks like the device security has been slightly improved. Let's get into the tech news. First story of the day is about the iPhones that are going to be coming out in 2020. Now this tweet comes from Ice Universe saying Apple is considering a switchable 60 Hz / 120 Hz refresh rate screen on the iPhone in 2020, and it is discussing it with Samsung and LG. Now, if you're not sure what I mean by that, basically what it means is the fluidness on your phone is gonna feel like super smooth, like amazing, like soap opera like, and it's a cool feature. It's in some phones right now. So for instance, the OnePlus 7 Pro phones have 90 Hertz, which is faster than what we get, because most phones are only at 60. So I know a lot of you guys wanted to see that faster refresh rate with the Galaxy Note 10 line of phones, and we didn't get it. Maybe we'll get it with the S11, especially when it seems to be being added to other Android phones. It's already on the iPad Pro tablets. I'd like to see it come to Android, at least more as an option at this point, because it's a cool thing to have. I love that fluidness that it brings. And if iPhones get it, you can assume that Samsung's definitely gonna want this for sure in their phones as well. And the last story of the day is about Android Q. Now, right now with Samsung phones, we're on Android Pie, but with Android Q, we're going to get One UI 2.0, and then with the Galaxy S11, you'll get One UI 2.1. If you remember when Android Pie came out, that's when we got Android One UI 1.0, and that's what we're on right now. We're on 1.0 with these phones, but when Android Q launches, which will probably be the end of this year, possibly falling into 2020, early 2020, you'll definitely get the newest update for the operating system for Samsung as well. And then when the S11 launches in, say, March or April, you're gonna get version 2.1. So there is some time before you actually get that update. I mean, it's possible when they do a beta version of it that we'll be able to get it then and there. Right now, the only thing we know for sure that it will bring, it's that little screen that's in your settings that basically it's going to allow you to mute notifications that bother you. It's kind of like that app that just is there to not make you so distracted by your phone and not use it so much. Now, there obviously will be other things, but right now that's all we know about Android Q and it coming on to the Samsung phones. Thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe. New videos every single day. My question out to you guys is, what's one feature that other phones have that you would love to see on your Galaxy phone either now or in the future? For me, I would go, because we just talked about it, would be that faster refresh rate. I would love to see 120 or 90 Hertz refresh rate on the Galaxy phones. I think it's time we had it. Other phones already have it, so why don't we get it, right? What about you guys? Let me know in the comments down below. I'll see you guys down the road.